Hey, everybody, this is Larry. This is the second day of July, Leetcode Day Challenge. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about today's problem. Happy July weekend, or something like that. Happy Saturday, wherever you are. It is, I believe, July 4th weekend, even though it's not obviously July 4th in the USA. So, yeah, we celebrate, go hang out or whatever. Anyway, today's problem is maximum area of a piece of cake after horizontal and vertical cuts. Okay, so let's say we have I cut. Okay, we cut all these things, and then okay, so you want the biggest non like you want one slice of cake or something like that, right? Okay, so I think this one is so just like I think I see the answer. Maybe I could be wrong about it. Obviously, things always wrong. My first inclination was that okay, there is a technique that I actually used a lot. I think people don't use it as much, but sometimes it lets you get away with stuff, and you have to look at constraints. And the technique that I was thinking about is what was I thinking about? What you might call it? I forget the name. I blanked out. But basically, like not normalization, but like reindexing, maybe. Like array indexing, right? What I mean by that is that let's say you have an array of, in this case, I mean, this doesn't really apply for this problem, to be honest, but it is a common technique that comes up in things like this, where you basically have a. Let me actually paint it out because I think painting people has been liking my painting lately. Not that well not my drawing or something like that, but like my explanation using painting. So let me bring that up. And this is not super, I mean, it's related to the problem. It's a technique that's kind of coming to play in some competitive things. So, stay if you want that, but otherwise you could skip ahead a little bit, maybe after the painting is done, right? But basically the idea about this indexing is that let's say you have like some really tricky problem where let's say we have a grid, right? Maybe I'll just copy and paste the grid, but hang on. Does that work? Nope. How did that happen? Okay, there we go. It's a bad painting. But basically, let's say you have someone like that, right? Where, the lines are here, here, and here, right? Double checking that it shows up on screen. Yep. Okay. Right. So now this is 1, 2, and 4, and then the idea behind reindexing is just so that it changes into one. You sort them and then you reindex them to 1, 2, and 3. Except for maybe you keep track of the idea that here between 2 and 3 the length is 2 or something like this, right? And then now given that, and there's some problems that not this one, but there's some problems where they're like, oh, okay, so for example, let's say this is shaded out, and you can kind of look at these as regions that are kind of sliced into that way, but of non-regular width. So basically it converts these uneven things into a even thing where you can index, you can keep track of the width or the height or whatever the distance is in a better way, so that you can do a brute force or maybe other technique in the middle, and that allows you to kind of make the bookkeeping a little bit easier, instead of just like doing everything straight up. You have to keep track of a lot of things. That was going to be my first inclination for about like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It is a technique that comes into play from time to time. Not super rare, but not super common either. So I'll leave it up to you to decide. Maybe we'll have a problem in the future where it needs this. But the thing about this one is just that it is going to be greedy. One thing I would say is that I do notice this is mod, even though I think it fits in. It fits in long, but some languages don't have long, so 64-bit integers. So anyway, so mod. So let's sing the mod song. Mod while we type, so we don't forget. Oops. Did have a typo there though. I write it this way so that by the time I get to return, hopefully I don't forget. I think like 2 contests ago, or like 2 weeks ago, something like this, or a week and a half ago, whatever it is. I did make a mistake for the first time in a long time forgetting the mod, so that's still irking in my mind. But okay, so then here, but the part here is just greedy, right? What do I mean by greedy? What I mean by greedy here is that, well, what we're trying to maximize is this formula. Area has a formula of width times height, right? And here, because in this case, the cuts are independent of each other, you can think about it as just like slicing thing up. Then it means that here, to maximize this, means that we're trying to maximize W times max of H. And now that you have this formula, it should be pretty straightforward to implement, right? And that's basically what we're going to do. Let's get started. And one more thing I would say, just as a before we begin, because I've been forgetting a lot about stuff, so I may forget to say it later. As you can see, this video is recorded live, and I like to go over my thought process and not just solve. I would like to solve the problem as well. So hopefully, this is a different format for if you're new here, this is a different format to kind of see about all these things that are in my mind, and I'm trying to articulate it so that either I succeed and look spectacular and you're like, oh, that's cool, or I fail and then we debug together and you're like, oh, well, that's maybe useful. We'll see. And if you like this format, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, tell one of your enemies and tell them to subscribe to it. I don't know. Okay, anyway, so given this formula, it just becomes implementation, right? So then here, how do we get it, right? Again, remember that these things are independent, so we can just do it independently. So then now let's say, so we could do it for width and then we do it for height and then multiply them together. And of course, the idea is going to be the same because they're independent. So I'm going to write a helper function for this. So maybe something like get max on cuts, and then we have cuts, right? And then here we can do for I like to write it this way, technically it's not as efficient, but I just like writing something like previous current in zip of cuts and cuts from here. So basically I just look at two adjacent elements in the thing. You can also use probably something from other tools, but yeah. And then here we just have max is equal to 0, and then I talked about how I shouldn't. This is what I mean by I'll forget. But I did forget about talking about it. I just talked a lot about this being live instead. But so one thing to be careful for mod is that remember that you want to maximize width times maximize height, right? This is not the same as, so basically we at the end we're going to return max of W times max times height, right? And of course we want to do this mod. It is important that we do not, it's very easy, and I made this mistake before, so you have to be careful. You have to make sure that you don't keep track of the max after mod. Does that make sense? Meaning that, and this, I think for this problem it's more easy to see and easy to understand why, and we'll go over it in a second. But you have to be careful because it does come into play under other problems, and it can bite you if you're not careful with that. What I mean by that is that, what you cannot do is you want to max, you want to do this max, right? Or maybe even if you want to do max of W times H as an original formula. What you don't want to do is by accident max of right? Maybe here, because the idea and what you don't want to do is max max after you mod, because then you may get the wrong answer, right? One easy example that you can truck, and I'll leave. Well, I was gonna say I would pause right here, but you can if you like, you can press the pause button and see why that is, or like try to figure out a case where that is wrong, right? but I'll give it to you right now. Right? Let's just say, I mean, instead of using this big mod, I'll just use something, you know, more simple. But let's say mod is equal to 100, right? Well, if width is equal to 99 and height is equal to 1, then your max after the thing is going to be equal to 99, right? Right, or something like that. Whoops, right? Where maybe there's a thing where it's you know, with width is equal to 10, height is equal to 10. That is going to be 10 times 10 is going to be 100, and it will give you 0, and it will not be, and that would be the correct answer, but that's not the answer you're gonna return if you keep track of the max. If you keep track of the max after you mod it. So that's one thing to be careful, and something that I've definitely made mistakes on before, so definitely be careful. I don't think I was going to do it this time, but actually, to be honest, who knows. But yeah. Anyway, going back to here, and also as part of that, in a similar way, what you don't want to do is mod here. I mean, obviously, mod doesn't really matter for this case because the height and the width is less than 10 to the 9. So the mod actually doesn't do anything because it's bigger than the range of these numbers. But there may be a problem where that is the case, and you have to figure out what you need to do. And sometimes the answer is higher mathematics. Sometimes it's keeping track of some of the components in a better way before you keep track and stuff like this. It's not I don't know that there's a one-size-fits-all thing, and I don't know that there's a easy thing in general, but just want to let you know. Cool. What else was I going to say? Okay. So then here is just C minus P. This is assumed that cuts is sorted, of course, and part of that sorted is that they're adjacent. So yeah, so then now we just return max after that. We also just write assume cuts is what you might call it. What was I gonna say? Is sorted. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So then another thing one thing that you can do, and I didn't do, is and one tricky part of this is just keeping track of the zero. You know, if you look at here, keeping track of the zeros and the width of it, right? Or width and the height, meaning in this case, there's one cut horizontally at 0 and one cut at 5, and then one vertical cut at 0 and one vertical at 4. And I maybe gave away the game a little bit, but that's basically how I would do it. Is that is to, instead of kind of, so you know, like one other thing that you could have done is maybe like something like, oh, if cuts of 0, you know, maybe like width minus cut of 0 is greater than max, or something like that, max, you know, something like this, and then you have to do it for the other side as well. Oh, this is probably wrong actually, I think, but nonetheless, that you can do that. But one thing that you can do is also create, I don't know, I guess this is almost like a sentinel, but create a better generalization from the inputs. And one thing that you can do here is by treating zeros as a cut, and also the length of the width or the height, you know, as a cut. So what I mean by that, and this part I have to be careful because I think it's easy to confuse this. But okay, let's just say we have a cut at 0. That part is easy to get correct, I hope. So horizontal cut means that it's the height, right? So this is going to be the H. Okay, because I feel like it's easy to mix up the H and the W, and hopefully I'm right on this one. Vertical cuts, it's going to be the width because the width is going to be the vertical cut. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, and then now we can. You should sort it, and you could probably actually. Yeah, maybe it's. I mean, I was thinking maybe you could put it inside the function. I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll just put it here. Maybe you could put another function as a wrapper that sorts it. That may be in a little bit better. So maybe you could do something like add to case or something. I don't know. Naming is hard, right? So then you have cuts dot append of s, cuts dot append of 0, cuts dot sort, and technically I know we modify input, but so we'll talk about that later. right? So you have something like this. And actually, you could also use a decorator, but we'll just ignore using. I mean, this is essentially what this is, but we'll ignore that for now. And then yeah, so then now you have h max, say, yeah, is equal to add to case is a terrible name, but pretend you have a better name at home, and then let me know your favorite name for variable names. I am terrible, right? Anyway, and then height max and then width max is equal to add to case of vertical cuts and W. And then yeah, and then now we can, oops. Now we can return this at the very end, and then just that, yeah. And let's give it a spin. With my numbers, there are a lot of random cases, so you have to be careful. And I just typoed it, but give it a submit. Oh wow, I got one. Oh, I hope I don't have a wrong answer this time. Did I forget some zero case? Huh. That's weird. I got the same wrong answer every time. This is pretty sad. Huh. Why do I get this wrong? Dong dong dong. I mean, there's only one input, right? That's weird, isn't it? Well, apparently I get this wrong like every time, and I don't know why yet. This seems pretty straightforward to me, unless I misunderstood the problem, and then we talked a lot about this for some reason. Okay, 81. Maximum, yeah, okay. Did I mix these after I said horizontal cut is the height? Yeah, right. Does that change it? I mean, that doesn't change anything because the input we have is symmetric. So actually, I just wanted to see, but Huh? Okay, friends. Maybe I looked at the problem and then in vertical cuts. So yeah, so the width is fine, right? Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure that. Green and yellow, okay. That's 6. Okay. They don't have anything that's mod. That's a little bit awkward, to be honest. But did I not forget to sort? No, I've sorted. I'm really confused, actually. Wow, this is day 2 and I'm already confused. Did I get that math wrong? So 3, 5, no. Huh. Huh? Ooh, what? Do I have a typo anywhere? It's possible I have typos. I mean, this looks right? Did I mistype the mod? No. Mod 10 to the 9 plus 7? No, that seems right? Huh. Alright, friends. Like I said, this is live, so now we're seeing why this is, but it's kind of tricky in the sense that the code is too simple to have too many typos. But let's see. No, I mean, I think I got the signs right. That was one thing that I could easily make a mistake on. This as well, sorting. Huh. Huh. Wow, now I'm stumped, to be honest. And it's only day 2 and it's only a medium problem, but maybe there's nothing on mod that I forget, is there? No, I mean, on this one. All right, let me So basically, I'm just doing a calculator thing, to be honest. So hang on. I mean, you may not be able to see this, but I'm just. I guess I could have just done that because there's big int in Python. Well, it also fits in the long anyway. Okay, so you have this. I just don't know. Huh. How do you get 81? Okay, so then you have this mod, what is it? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me just run it real quick. Sorry, friends. Whew, this is a yikes. 81, right? Oh, wait. It is 81. Did I do something wrong? Huh? Why did I output? So I put it into a console. And it is right. Is this mod wrong? Oh, jeez. Okay, well, at least, okay. I mean, I did, so what I did was I put it in the console and then yeah, but. Okay, well, I mean, you know, silly mistake can be in any places, and I was focused on here because usually I type this one right, obviously. Oh, geez. Okay, let's try again. Hopefully this one is actually right. It may have another. Okay. What a silly day. What a silly day, right? For those of you who spotted at home early, you know, give yourself props, leave a comment in the comment and be like, Larry, you're silly again. You know, people, I feel like recently people have said that sometimes I beat myself up a little bit too much on silly mistake. And, you know, sometimes, like for me, I actually don't beat myself up if I don't get the solution or don't get the problem, because for me that just becomes a learning experience, and I go, how can I learn this better, you know? And I try to think about it, and sometimes you see videos to that, so hit the follow button for that. But for me, something that I do beat myself up a little bit is silly mistakes, and this is clearly a silly mistake. And I was just checking it off on a calculator, and I was like, on the calculator is returning correctly, so that means that the mod is incorrect, right? And then, you know, and then you saw what I did, and that makes it a little bit better. But maybe I could have checked that a little bit earlier, but yeah, and I think some of it is just I had doubts about myself as well, because as you can see in the past, I have 2 wrong answers in the past. This one's a little bit silly, but it's hard to believe that I made the same silly mistake 3 times. So it must be some other things, and we'll go over it in a second. But yeah, but as you can see, even quote unquote good good engineers make silly mistakes. But that's also why in real software engineering, you write tests. This is why you write tests, so that when you have typos and they don't correspond to what you expect, you can try to find the error. And then 2 is, I forgot what 2 was. Oh yeah, it just happens, right? So, you know, it's fine. But that is silly though, obviously. Yeah, let me go over the complexity really quickly. I think I've already talked about everything I want to talk about this problem other than this silliness. So, yeah, that was like 97, but as soon as I plugged it into a calculator, I was like, should be right. But what a silly mistake. Okay, but yeah, in terms of complexity, of course, we mutate the input by sorting. So you can say that there's linear space, because in theory, if you don't want to mutate the space, you would create another copy and then sort that one instead. Of course, that is going to be dominated by sorting. These 2 dimensions are done independently, so it's going to be n log n in total, or if you want to prefer, it's h log h plus w log w or something like that, where that's the number of cuts on both dimensions. Yeah, I mean, that's what I have for this one. Space is linear. I am curious how I made, because some of my doubt about myself was that I had 2 wrong answers, because, you know, even if I made this mistake, I would not expect to make the same mistake. So let's see what happened last time. No, I did it the same thing. What happened here? Oh, I just forgot the mod. So maybe this is a problem where I do make silly mistake multiple times. Did I forget the mod again? Forget the mod again, Larry. Come on. Today I remember the mod, but see here we did allocate the space. But today I did remember the mod, but not the right mod. So maybe this problem is just cursed for me. You know, I will never eat a cursed cake slice. I'll just eat a smaller slice whenever I see a cake next time. How about that? I mean, this is a cursed problem. So I mean, some of it is like, you know, mentally doubt that I made the same mistake 3 times, but apparently, well, this time I didn't make the same mistake, but a same-ish mistake. So so I don't know. Anyway, anyway, that's all I have for this one. Let me know what you think. What a silly day. But I hope everyone's having a great weekend, or going to have a great weekend. I mean, we'll see you soon again tomorrow for the video. We'll be here or for as long as I can. I mean, we have an 823-day streak, so it'll keep going for as long as, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot my out sign again. But yeah, stay good, stay healthy, to good mental health. I'll see you later and take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.